Nick Wilson with Dan Brownlee after the defeat at Cheshire, and Dan battled hard but in the end beaten by a team that was better on the day.
Yeah, I'm obviously naturally disappointed with the result, but I'd find myself hard pushed to be disappointed with the overall performance. I do think Cheshire probably deserved the win. In fact, I don't think there's any real probability about it, but as we've experienced ourselves, that's not always the way the game ebbs and flows. Like we've still created chances. We've had a couple in the first half which probably do a little bit better with, and in the second half we again mainly from distance. But we said at half time, and maybe it's us that's killed us, in that sometimes these games if you're going to be beaten, you might as well be beaten by a worldie, and that was a worldie. So maybe I've brought the gods on in that sense. But Cheshire are a thoroughly decent side, play good football, move the ball really well, got some incredibly gifted players, the likes of Upwood, Aldershot and Farnborough and co. So I mean, incredibly gifted. So we knew it was going to be a test, and a test it was. And unfortunately, whilst we were close throughout today, we just couldn't get the job done.
Did you have complaints about the penalty award for the second goal?
Yeah, I think so personally. I mean, I give up with the rules now. I mean, I watch Match of the Day every week, and there's a new law. And as far as I'm concerned, if you're a metre away from the ball and you're told that if your hands are in unnatural position, which as far as I'm concerned is out of your silhouette. Alfie's pulled his arms in so that he's not like making himself bigger, and in doing so the ball's going to go for his chin, and the ball's hit him in there. And in terms of my sense, he's gained no advantage by the ball hitting him in this area, because if his arms are out, it hits his chest. So as far as I'm concerned, he's done everything he can to keep his body in line. And the disappointing thing a little bit, I mean, we've spoken to the referee afterwards, and there was a bit of a casualness in response, and I actually thought the referee had a fairly decent game throughout, but a casual response of we weren't going to get back into the game is a disappointing one, because it almost goes, well, we'll just give them a penalty, and at 1-0 we were more than in the game. So there's disappointing factors to it, but like I said, there's no real complaints in terms of the overall result, I guess, in the way that Cheshire played and the way we tried to compete.
One of the biggest positives is the players that have come back today, named on the bench, are players who, 3 certainly, maybe 4 would certainly be starting for you if you could choose your best team.
Yeah, I think so. And you get headaches all the time, but my God, I'm going to have some very different headaches in the coming weeks. I mean, to have Dunny back particularly, and that's nothing on the others, but the skipper is the lifeblood of this team in terms of the way he carries himself and his impact on this side. So to have him back is magnificent. But equal value to that, the likes of Billy Upton, Scotty Armsworth, James Clark back in today, Reedy's not far off, Callum's not far off. Kai had to come out today because of a slight groin tightness more than a tweak. But yeah, we're starting to get really good bodies back, which is great. And the youth lads have done fantastically well, and they've filled a bench more than filled a bench. That's the wrong phrase. More than filled a bench in terms of their what they have done to contribute over the last few weeks. But that level of experience and being able to look back and go, okay, they can do a bit. We're still capped a little bit by time, so the likelihood of seeing any of those boys start next week is slim. You might see 1 or 2 possibly, but to answer your question, yes, it's amazing to have them back.
And 3 home games in a row coming up now with players coming back. Does that sort of help you give an opportunity to start putting up points on the board in quick succession again after a difficult run?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, look, every game in this league is hugely tough, and we'll do our best to compete. And as I've said to the boys in the changing room, the pendulum will swing. You know, if we were giving bad performances right now, then I'd be really concerned. But if you combine Chippenham last week, today, we've shown a real fighting spirit. It's now about marrying up our free-flowing attacking play alongside what we're doing in defensive work, and today again it took them, I think, to 76 minutes to have a shot on target. I mean, we created one moment in the first half which was our own undoing, but to hold a side like that who've been relatively free scoring for quite some time, we've done really well. So there's bits to work on, as there always is, and that's a common message with me, but yeah, it was great. And the last point for me, the supporters were magnificent again today, and they were last week, and it's really refreshing to know and understand and realise, actually, because they do say it, that they know the situation we're in, they know the situation we've been in, and they know it's a tough league. So there's a level of belief, and the common phrase is get your heads up, and that's something we'll absolutely do, because they are disappointed in there, but they're also understanding that they're performing well. It's just a case of a little bit of luck, and the tide will turn, no doubt about it.
Thank you very much, Dan.
Cheers, mate.